Listen, you want to quit your job, right? Well, I've been there. I have been there a few times actually, for different reasons. So, if you want to quit your job, let's just get to the nitty gritty. Okay, there are 8 steps I want you to be mindful of when you're quitting your job. I don't want you just to quit your job out of emotion because the supervisor made you mad or something's wrong with the systems and you're frustrated or a customer made you upset. I want you to be strategic about your exit plan. Now, many people have a desire of leaving their places of employment for different reasons. And so, a lot of times when you hear someone wanting to quit their job, we try to talk them into staying. I have done that. People have done that to me. And I've learned that that is the worst thing you can do. I believe that people need to make decisions for their journey, for themselves. Okay. Your journey is not my journey, and vice versa. So, your why as to the reason you get up and get out of bed every day and do your job is different from my why. So we got to remember that when we try to talk people off the ledge or saying I quit or I want to leave this pothole of a job or whatever people complain about. And the reason why I say that is because a lot of times we pigeonhole people into staying at a company, or staying within a task, a department, and really it's just time for them to go. Have you ever been in a position where you have outgrown your role? Okay, you've outgrown your role. You've mastered the job. You're sick and you're tired. Every day you get out of bed with a groan. So those are the people who we need to stop talking them off the ledge. Maybe it is time for them to promote up, um, do a lateral move outside of the department that they're currently serving in, or leave the company altogether. Okay. You may have to stay at a company for 20 years. Where somebody over here has been saving, they're diligent about their retirement plan. And so they don't have to do what you're doing and still make it. Now, I'm not saying don't be a friend and encourage somebody to, shrug off a incident. But when someone is perpetually saying, I'm ready to leave a job, I think we need to be very mindful of that person's needs. Okay. Not just wants, but their needs, and understand that a lot of times it was time for you to go at one point, but you decided to stay for whatever reason. And then let's face it, companies are not providing that retirement package like your parents had or your grandparents took a part of. So everybody's on their own saving for retirement anyway, for the most part, in what different industries. Okay, and especially if you're at a certain level. If you really look at your 401k plan or any other retirement account that you have set up, you have to decide, is it worth it to you to stay with that company? And then the next time you move into another company, you may really want to put that retirement or savings as a forefront of priorities that you need from another company. Okay, you live and you learn type thing, right? So going back to I want to quit my job. Is nothing wrong with wanting more. There's nothing wrong with wanting more. And I think a lot of times we penalize people and we tell them, like, what's the big idea? We don't have it so bad. There are a lot of people who have less and, would love to be in your shoes or be love to have this particular seat that we're in. Quit complaining. Again, you do not know what that person's purpose was, or is in their life. So we have to be mindful that maybe it's the best you can do. But that person is saying, I want more. They're saying, I want more, I deserve more. And you have to respect that. Don't try to measure their needs by your needs. Okay. So, number one, you need to decide if it is the right time for you to leave a job. You talk to your spouse, you talk to whomever you're with, who you leaving would affect. Okay. And you need to really be mindful and realistic on your decision making. Is it the right time to get a new job in this industry within the market itself? Are people hiring? Is there a hold because of maybe like a lot of shipment stuff is at a standstill, right? So does your industry impact another industry, or does another industry impact what you're doing, and how? Is it easy to pick up where you've left off at another company, maybe a competitor? If so, who's hiring? What are they looking for? What are you now? You got some experience. What are you now bringing to the table that you did not have before? Okay. How have this job here enhanced you? And then one thing I always say, if you're going from one job to the next, I always say you should leave a job better than you came. So it's just not about the dollar per hour or your salary. I want you to have a complete package of improvements, if you will. Have you gained some credible education, certificates, a degree, anything that will make you more marketable in your industry from this current role? Okay. Have you had some additional training that is transferable skills to another company? How have you improved? Okay. That's one important thing. What skills have I picked up since I've been here? How have they improved my life? Because I think a lot of times, if you think in terms of what have I gotten out of this thing, you will soon find out that, I'm sorry, guys, my afternoon alarm. You'll soon find out that, you know what, their job isn't done. Their job isn't done. I need to get some more kibbles and bits to make myself in a better standard before I go out, start to apply for other places or just quit. Okay. You want to make sure it's the right time for you financially, for you emotionally, um, globally. What's going on in the market? How soon can you get a job? Okay. If that's what you're looking for. Number two, the 2 weeks notice thing. Now, old school, and I'm part of the old school generation, we were taught to give a company a 2 weeks notice minimum. Okay, 2 weeks notice minimum. A lot of jobs, that is truly, we have to be honest, it's a courtesy. It's not a mandate unless it's in your contract or something like that. All right. So, with that being said, you have to um decide if this company is worth you giving your 2 weeks notice. Now, if you give a 2 weeks notice, are they the type of people that would say, okay, great, never mind, you're out the door? Okay, so if they cut you loose the day you give them the notice, will you be able to be okay in that, not getting that extra 2 week paycheck? Okay. So be aware of the 2 weeks notice. Most companies or most states are at will. So you, as the employee, can terminate your services at any time without cause. And likewise, they can let you go without cause at any time. So the 2 weeks notice is a courtesy. Would I give a 2 weeks notice under normal circumstance? Absolutely. Have I done it? Every time. Okay. Only because the way the market is set up now, they always want you to have a reference from your supervisor. So you want them to be able to do it. We'll talk more about that later. Number three, write a letter of resignation. There's nothing wrong with you verbally informing your supervisor, hey, this is what what I was thinking about. This is what I want to do. And I want to do it effective such and such and such. If it's 2 weeks notice, 3 weeks notice, a month notice. You can let them know, hey, I've decided to take a scholarship overseas, and I'm leaving in 3 months, whatever it is that you want to take. That's a really good way for them to even invite you back or to stay on until then. Maybe they have some way they can save your job because there's programs out there that they'll know about that nobody mentioned to the general public. Okay. So when you finish with going abroad to study, you can go back into your role. So just think of it, that resignation as options. Even though you may have told your supervisor verbally, this is what you want to do, y'all talked about it, I would still suggest to put it in writing. Put it in writing. Okay. Make sure HR has a copy. Make sure your supervisor and then their supervisor has a copy, and you keep it for your records. Okay. And that way they, if push come to shove down the road, you will say, hey, this was a resignation and not a termination. I've seen that have, being a case as well. Number 4, ask to conduct an exit interview upon your last day or last week of your employment, and because you have decided I'm quitting, this is it. Then ask for an exit interview. Also ask HR, who usually conducts it, the supervisor or HR. Ask them, who does this information go to? Because then that is kind of what will determine what you want to discuss or what you want to add besides the questions they ask you, what you want to ask, or provide, experiences, how you want the next candidate to come in this role or the next employee to come in this role and find it. Make it a better place than when what you left, right? So that's the whole purpose of an exit interview, is really to give insight to management or HR, whomever the powers to be, to see what is the trend. Are people leaving because of lack of pay? Are they leaving because the supervisors are making it unbearable? Are people just not having flexibility with their schedule? Is the pandemic? They don't have childcare? Whatever it is, be honest and forthright and explain yourself and your reasons for leaving and what you would suggest the company do to fix the problem that that you are encountering and the reason why you want to leave. Number 5, wrap up unfinished work. Don't leave the folks in a jam. I've seen this too many times. Now, depending on what your job is, you're gonna always have unfinished work, right? Or you have work up until that particular hour until you clock out. Maybe if it's a call center, you're constantly taking calls, so you don't have much unfinished work. But for projects and things like that, try to wrap all that up. Try to provide some type of communication with your customer or clients that you have recurring relationships with. Let them know, hey, Tuesday, next 2 weeks, whatever it is, 3 weeks is my last day. But don't worry, you'll have so and so to take my place. And I've already brought them up to date with where we are, and they are fully capable of picking up the torch and taking you through the stretch. Okay. Just reassure the customer that everything is good. Now, this is a big one. Okay. Number 6, don't tell your coworkers about you leaving until you tell management. It is nothing worse than being a manager and find out through the grapevine that your employee is biting the dust. All right. And now we all talk amongst our colleagues. I get it. But make sure you kind of just hold your mule until it's time, because still in these 2 weeks period of time, or however, whatever the notice time frame is that you want to continue working, is it's still fragile. Okay, you don't want to do anything unnecessarily to what they say, cut off your nose in spite of your face. So you don't want to do anything to harm you from getting that extra 2-week paycheck or whatever, however you get paid. So just kind of keep things under wraps until you go. Then 7, don't talk trash about your supervisor or manager or the company. Okay, because they may have to be the ones to give you a letter of recommendation. So if you're mad about a certain particular issue, then that's fine. You deal with it, you address it, and you be done with it. Okay, because I'm gonna tell you something. As soon as you leave, the same folks you talking to, they're gonna go back and they're gonna tell the supervisor or manager, well, no, because I talked to so and so, and John said he left because you were a dirty, rotten scoundrel and he didn't trust you anymore. Meanwhile, you're applying for somewhere else, right? And then you got to call them. That manager has got to call John's supervisor, and you don't want that person to be in their human feelings and tell something they shouldn't, or not give you a glowing review. All right. Again, you don't want to cut off your nose and spite your face. That's if you care. You also, number 8, you want to bow out gracefully. Bow out gracefully. Like, you're done. You've already made up your mind. You've counted up the cost. You've decided this is the time I need to leave. For whatever your reasons are, they're only valid for you. And you have to say, I am okay with not getting this paycheck. I'm okay financially. I'm okay mentally and emotionally. I'm done. So once you're done, just hey, I win, so to speak. Okay? And just ride off in the sunset. You don't have to cause um create confusion or drama before you're walking out, or even gloat to your colleagues who's staying. You dumb dumbs, you're staying, you're stupid, I'm out of here. No, just bow out gracefully. Say, hey guys, those who you want to give numbers to, exchange information, and hope y'all can stay friends. A lot of times relationships don't stay cohesive as they were when you were working side by side together. But hopefully, with social media now, you can stay connected with those people in your life more than ever. But just bow out gracefully and just say, hey, this situation was a short period of time in my life, and I don't want to visit it again. And then on the flip side of that, everybody doesn't leave a job because they were unhappy. Sometimes they just realize it's time to go. And if that's the consensus, it's time to go. I've done all I can do here. It served me well. I'm not mad at anybody, but I gotta go. Just go. Bid everybody farewell and right off into the sunset. So listen, that was 8 tips for quitting your job. It is up to you, not anyone else. And even if your coworkers are saying, hey, I'm quitting my job, I can't stand it here, you make sure it's the best situation for you to stay or to go.